Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to show you how to play King of Tokyo. It's ages 8 and up, 2 to 6 players, and it takes 30 minutes. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to be the first to either get to 20 points or to be the last monster remaining when the other two players have had their health go down to 0. If you have any health left at that point, you are the winner. For game setup, you pick a monster and the corresponding board. You just pick which one looks like the most fun. There's no advantage or special powers for being any particular one. You put out the dice, energy cubes. These tokens are correlated with specific cards you can draw. These are extra dice that can come into play if you have a specific card. And then of these power cards, you deal 3 face up and you are ready to go. To begin gameplay, everyone takes a turn rolling all 6 of these black dice, and then whoever gets the most of these like paw prints that are the wound roll, whoever gets the most of those in their roll gets to go first. We'll say it's this player. We have a 3-player game set up here. There are another 3 monsters that you get to use. In a 3-player game, you will only be using Tokyo City for the monsters to be on the board. It's pretty simple if you have 5 or 6 players how you incorporate Tokyo Bay, and I'll show that later on in the video. But to start, all you do is, we'll say this player got the most of the wound rolls, so they get to go first, and then you take your dice, and no one starts out on the board, and you have up to 3 rolls, and you set aside what you roll, what you want to keep, and then you re-roll. And you can, if you decided, if you had gotten something different on here, you can re-roll ones that you've already set aside. So if they'd gotten something else here, they could say, oh, okay, I got a 1. I'm just going to go ahead and re-roll all of these for my final roll. And then at the end, after you've rolled 3 times, you resolve your dice. There are a few different things you can roll. These lightning bolts give you energy cubes, which is how you purchase these cards, which give you special abilities and powers. The wound roll attacks other players, but you have to be in Tokyo City in order to wound the other players, or you have to be out of Tokyo City and have somebody in there in order to wound them. So in the first round, this wouldn't attack anybody because he's kind of with them right now. And then there is a heart you can roll, which will heal you, but you can only be healed when you're outside of Tokyo City. When you're in the city, you are battling, you can't stop to heal. He's outside of Tokyo City, but his health is already at 10. The health dial does go up to 11 or 12, but you have to have a special card in order to be able to do that. So 10 is the max, so we wouldn't be able to do anything with that right here. And then the other thing you can do is there are victory points you can gain if you roll 3 of a kind. So if he had kept those 3 3s, he would have gotten 3 points for that up here on the dial. And what's kind of tricky about the victory points when you're not used to them, so 3 3s would have been 3 points, 3 2s would be 2 points, 3 1s would be 1 point. However, if you roll an extra one of them, it's worth 1 point more. So 4 3s is worth 3 plus 1. 4 2s would be 2 plus 1 for a total of 3. 4 3s would be 1 plus 1, if that makes sense. So that feels a little weird the first time through, but it gets more intuitive after you've played. So then after they've resolved the dice, we had it as the original, so he didn't do any damage, didn't heal, he got his 2 energy cubes. Now you enter Tokyo City, and they have a nice little shorthand on the bottom of the board. When you enter, you get 1 point. And then it is the next person's turn. Play proceeds clockwise. Player 2 is going to roll, and we're going to say they roll great. They roll a bunch of power cubes, and then they roll to, we'll just say that after 3 rolls, this is what they get, this is what they keep. There is an order to your gameplay. They have it spelled out in the rules. So you roll your dice, then you resolve your dice. So you gain your energy. They get 4 energy, and you smash. This player is out, and this player is out. So this player's smash only goes to this player, and they lose 2 health. They're down to 8. After that, this player has a choice. If they hadn't attacked them at all, they have to stay in Tokyo. The only way to leave Tokyo is if you've been attacked. So they would probably stay in at this point, but if they chose to leave, if they said, okay, that's enough for me, I'm out, this player then would have to enter Tokyo. So they're required to. It doesn't matter if they have 2 health and they really don't want to. If Tokyo is empty, you must enter it. So then it would be their turn to go in, and they'd gain a point, because you always gain a point when you enter Tokyo. And now they would have the opportunity to use these energy cubes. And energy cubes, I mean, if they had just a bunch of these, you can buy more than 1 card on your turn. You can save them. There's no limit to how many you have over here if you're really lucky and you're just rolling a bunch. The deal with the cards over here is if there's 3, if you just don't like any of them, or if you don't want somebody else to get one of them, you can pay 2 to clear the stack and put out 3 new cards on your turn. Or you can choose, this person's going to go ahead and choose to play 4. And so then they pay them back into the bank over here. And they'd get this card, and a new one would get placed out immediately. So if they had more energy cubes, they could then purchase this one if they wanted. And there's 2 different types of cards that come out. There are discard and keep. And they're pretty simple. They say what they are on the bottom of each ones. But the discard, you don't get to wait and use them later on. You have to use them right away. And so this, you discard and you get 2 points. So this would be discarded, and they'd get 2 points and be up to 3 points. Their turn is over, and now it's this person's turn. So you keep on going and doing that. You have different things. These tokens are explained. They're correlated to specific cards. They're tied to them, and they have special powers. But they would get to go, they got 2 points between the 3 ones, and then they'd re-roll this. We'll say they attack. So they get 1, they got 2 points, and this person is attacked 1, and the deal is then you just keep on passing around the dice, roll 3 times, resolve, you're buying cards, and the other thing to know is if it comes back around to to Cyber Kitty's turn, and they're still in Tokyo at the beginning of their turn, they get an extra 2 points for that. So it's pretty nice if they make it back around and they get, they've stayed in the whole time. That's how you get a lot of points, and that can be very helpful for winning the game. For playing with 5 or 6 players, the only difference is if Tokyo Bay is open, then the next person, so if it was this person's turn and they'd been in here, and then this person enters Tokyo Bay, there would have to be, you only do it if there's 5 or 6 people in the game. If people get eliminated and you have 4 or less playing, then you don't use Tokyo Bay anymore. But if it's open on your turn, then you have to enter it. Sometimes if somebody rolls something, if this person rolled a ton of smash dice and just really took them out, then they can both choose to leave in the same turn. If you have at least 5 players, then they could both leave, and then he would enter, and then on the next turn, the other person, as long as he's still in there, would have to enter. So even in a 5 to 6 player game, this isn't always full, and it's only used for a little bit until it's just back down to Tokyo City. Here's what the end of a game might look like. We're saying Mecha Dragon got eliminated, and so they're just sitting there watching these 2 duke it out to see who is the champion at the end. It is Space Penguin's turn. I'm saying this is their final roll they came up with, so they got 3 more energy cubes, and they get to heal 1. They're at 5, and they're going to use these to purchase this card, which they have to use right away. And this card allows them to gain 5 points, and then they also simultaneously lose 4 hearts. So this player is going to go down to 1. So it's really important they gained this heart or they would have lost, while they get up to 20 points and they would be the victor. If you get to 20 points on the same turn where you lose all of your hearts, you still lose. It doesn't matter the points if your hearts are all gone. But because they still had a heart left, they made it to 20 points, and Space Penguin is the winner. So that's how to play King of Tokyo. The target demographic for this game is someone who is looking for a family-level battling game. That's exactly what this is, and it does it so well. The rule complexity is medium. The basics of the game are very simple. The amount of times you roll and how you resolve the dice. But some of the cards that you can purchase and the special actions you can do with them require a little bit of reading, and sometimes you need to reference the rules for the first few times through. But in general, it is what it says it is, so it isn't anything too tricky for anything that you encounter in this game. How competitive is this game? High. It is a battling game. Someone is trying to eliminate your character by taking away all of their health. So you really need to know your audience for this game. It's a fantastic game. Some people are going to love the battling aspect. Some people are not going to love that so much when it's used against them. So you just need to know that going in. The replay value is high. This is such a well done game. It has so many expansions. We have the Halloween expansion, which is so fun because you can get some special traits and for your costumes, for your different characters that give them abilities from the beginning of the game, which really adds to the game. So if you're in on this game and you enjoy it, you're going to love it and you're going to want to play it a bunch. Similar games, Dragonwood is what we go for when we play this with my 2 sons and the battling aspect gets to be a little bit tough for them. Dragonwood has a very similar feel, but instead of battling each other, you were trying to capture mystical creatures out in the woods, and so nobody's trying to get you. You are just competing to try to get these creatures. So it helps with that aspect of the game. But if you have this and enjoy it and want just a little bit more, Dice Throne is a lot of the same elements, but you have individual characters with special powers. We just got the Marvel versions and we really enjoy those. So, and then you have more strategic decisions you are making with the dice and cards that you pull. But King of Tokyo is just so well done. It's a staple in our house and you should definitely check it out. Thanks and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.